Top 15 Roblox games to play with friends in 2024. Today I'll be sharing with you guys the most underrated Roblox games, ranging from games that are grindy or quick fun games for your game nights that you can play with your friends. All the game links will be in the description along with other details which you guys can find on my website. So if you guys want to play any of these, check them out through there. But anyways, let's get straight into the video, starting with Average Play Game. Average Play Game is a great game to play if you guys just want some quick fun with your friends. Spawning on your own plate, a random disaster will happen every few seconds, and these disasters can range from a tower spawning on your plate to a tornado to even a tsunami. Anything can happen. This game is all about luck, so if your friends aren't that good at playing games, then this is something I highly recommend checking out. Number 2, Death Penalty. Moving on to the second game, we have Death Penalty. In the game, you are sentenced to death, but you have been given a chance of freedom by subjecting yourself to various experiments. Just like the last game, your survival is based on luck, but this also requires some skill depending on what situation you're put in. If you're looking for something to play for like 20 minutes, then this is the perfect game. Now this next game is very different from the rest. Weird Trick Dad is an interactive story game where you play as the children, given different objectives that you have to follow in order to progress. It starts off fine, albeit questionable, but the more you play, the more apprehensive the game gets. The more scary, the more random, the more all of the above. Weird Trick Dad has pretty much all of that combined. For me, I don't really enjoy story games, but this one was a blast playing with my friends. It is a little bit longer compared to other games on this list, especially if you want to play all of the 4 chapters, but I recommend giving it a shot if you're interested in something that will spook you and your friends just a bit. Now for those who are looking for a simple, fast-paced horror, this is the one. How it goes is you've been invited to become a chef at Midnight Sushi, the world's top sushi restaurant. You are given a limited amount of time to cook specific meals that get more complex than the last, with you having to navigate past a janitor that chases you along the way just to get those ingredients. And if you get right in the way of the janitor just once, you lose 1 of your 3 lives. Noobs in Combat is a lot like tower defense simulators in a way. I found it to be a bit complicated for a beginner to understand, but once you understand the game's interface and how to play it, it's pretty fun. It's not all fast and luck based like the last games, it's more about your strategy and how you play your cards. If you're into that type of thing, then I'd say check it out. This one was recommended quite a bit on my last video, so I decided to check it out, and it did not disappoint. Block Tales has a very unique story and gameplay that are unlike a lot of the games on this list, having based the story off of old Roblox and the animation and the graphics having like an old retro video game feel to it. This one is mainly designed to be played with your friends with their party feature, or you can play it alone like I did. And trust me, I ended up playing this game a lot longer than I needed to just because I was so hooked. It's an RPG game, so if you're into that type of thing, check it out. Alright, now I'm going to switch up the pace a little bit here on this list and recommend you guys a first-person shooter. This is Bomb Line. It's great on console and PC. It's a lot like games like CSGO or Valorant, where there's 2 teams and one has to defuse the bomb while the other team tries to stop the other. Except you could also compare it to the likes of Arsenal because of its loadout randomizer, making things just a bit more chaotic. As a big fan of Arsenal, I found this game a lot more enjoyable, but it's just less simple. Still, something I recommend to all of my FPS lovers out there, so if you're one of those people, check it out, it's way more fun with friends. Overborn is one of the least popular games on this list, without an actual good reason. The game has been described to start off extremely difficult, which puts off a lot of newer players like myself, but once you get to the hang of how the mechanics work, it becomes a lot easier than hard. Again, because the bosses get more complicated. If you're like a hardcore gamer and need a straight up challenge, this is something only you would even dare to play. Just thought I'd mention this game a bit since it's pretty underrated and looks fun if your friends are willing to suffer for an entire week. Item Asylum is one of the most chaotic and underrated games out there, and it's already gaining popularity rapidly. It describes itself as a chaotic meme and reference-filled randomizer fighting experience, and from what I played, that description fits right in. Now, this game felt entirely different from the rest of the games on this list, mainly because of how well it's made. It was so well made, it didn't even feel like I was playing a Roblox game. Rise of the Dead is a Roblox MMORPG where you, the player, must explore a post-apocalyptic world to help survivors and loot for resources to obtain and modify equipment to defend against zombies who are evolving with special abilities. If you have a lot more time on your hands than a simple game night, you and your friends would be set playing this game for at least a few days, but it'll probably be even longer than that. Highly recommend checking it out. But if you're looking for a simple game night, here is a fast-paced, simple horror game. Scream Stream is similar to the likes of Content Madness, for example, where you and your friends land jobs to make films for viral online success. But then things take a dark turn, where you are teleported to a completely different realm. But even after all of that, you still have to keep the cameras rolling. Super interesting game, and I bet you won't even be finding yourself bored after playing it. This next game boldly portrays itself as the scariest horror game on Roblox, with the description saying survive the aftermath of an expedition turned nightmare, even asking you, will you manage to keep your sanity intact? However, just like the last game, it actually lives up to its word, and it did scare me a little bit while playing. However, it's still not as scary as the next game I'm about to show you guys, so stay tuned for that. Dread Camp is most definitely ideal if you just want to be scared and want a much more simple gameplay experience and don't want things to get overcomplicated. Trespasser is a horror game, just like the previous three, that scared the most out of me. It's easily the scariest game on this entire list. It's absolutely inspired by Five Nights at Freddy's, so if you enjoy that franchise, you'll love this game. In Trespasser, you have to meet your resident quota by allowing people into the building you work in, while also determining anyone who you deem as an anomaly. You'll identify these anomalies by their weird behavior, usually through their physical traits. They'll make it pretty obvious. During all of this, you'll also have to keep emergency exits shut at all times to prevent unwanted visitors and make sure the generator always has power. I haven't played anything like it before, and I doubt you guys have either, so go check it out. It's in my top 3 favorites on this list without a doubt. Adventure Story reminds me a lot like Block Tales from earlier. If you're looking for a grind, again, cannot recommend this enough. It's a multiplayer turn-based action-adventure game set in a cartoony world full of interesting and charming characters. You'll be traveling the world to learn powerful abilities in order to conquer the most evil beings with the help of a few friends, while collecting treasures and valuable relics along the way. To me, it felt like playing a modern version of Pokemon Brick Bronze, without the Pokemon, which I know is a weird way of describing it, but that's how I felt when I was playing it. And lastly, at the end of our list, we have a timeless classic, aka Pick a Side. The premise is that players are presented with 2 opposing thought-provoking choices, often framed as would you rather scenarios, or preferences on various topics. Once everyone has made their decision and chosen a side, that's when the players then face off in a battle to determine which side is considered correct. It's a lot less about strategy and more so reliant on which side has the most people. But it also can depend on how good the other players are and how powerful their weapons are. The more you play the game, the better the weapons you get from unboxing loot crates, which allows you to win even more, even if your choices are unpopular. Like this video and subscribe if you found the game you were looking for, so I can keep making more of these videos to help you and your friends out. Again, all the game links will be linked in the description on my website, so if you're wondering where they are, that's where they are. Anyways, check out this video right here if you want 10 more games, and that'll be it from me. Peace.